connected to a movement called the Unification Church Movement, and there are certain fundamental principles that we believe are universal and most important for us to know and understand. And so I only have one slide other than this one to show you. And then I will explain our understanding of the meaning of Parents' Day and the significance of being parents. In life, if we think about it, there are three fundamental goals, or you could say there are three responsibilities that you have from the moment you're born until the time you take your last breath. There are three fundamental things you want to accomplish during your lifetime. First, and I want to emphasize this, I can't emphasize this enough really, is that we believe very strongly that these principles are originally God's principles. God is the designer and the creator of this universe. You know, billions of years before life even existed on this one small planet Earth in the universe, already God had planned and thought out and created a process. And so after approximately 13.7 billion years from the time of the Big Bang, here we are today in this room together. So when God created the universe, He created it already knowing that eventually He would create His children on this planet Earth. And when His children were created on this planet Earth, He intended for them to follow certain principles, to grow and to reach a certain relationship with Him. One of the most fundamental principles that we have to follow is the principle of uniting our mind and our body. We are physical beings, obviously, but more than just being a material being that exists in a physical environment. Fundamentally, we also have a spiritual nature. C.S. Lewis, who is a very famous Christian writer, said, I want to get this right, he said, I don't have a physical body. Wait, someone help me out here. Remember? Anyway, essentially he was saying that, I don't have a spirit. I have a body, but I am a spiritual being. So first and foremost, we are spiritual beings who have a spiritual nature. If you think of your personality, if you think of your desires, your inspirations, your ambitions, your goals in life, these things are more than just physical. They aren't just chemicals in your brain. They are something more fundamental than that. And that is your spirit. So our mind, or our character, our personality, and our body, after we're born, we begin to grow. And this is where, of course, being a child is all about growing up and learning how to unite your mind and your body centered on God's original principles so that you can become a full and complete mature person. Usually it takes about 18 to 21 years for a person to reach this level of maturity. But it's meant to be done centered on God's original purpose of creation. Then once a person, an individual, is self-aware and clear about their own identity, a natural process, an attraction, in most cases takes place between men and women. Boys are attracted to girls. In the beginning, they have the cooties. They don't want to have anything to do with them. But as time goes on, something changes. And people find themselves drawn and attracted to the opposite sex. And ultimately, the desire to come together and to create that union. And out of that union, a child is created. In fact, it's the only way a child can be created, is when a man and a woman come together in that union and become husband and wife to each other. And ultimately, the wife becomes pregnant, and in her womb, because of the seed that was planted there by the husband, grows a life, a child, and then the child is born. And the process continues. So, in the beginning, we become a mature individual, but then we find ourselves either becoming a husband or a wife. And then we become a father or a mother. And as we go through this process, it isn't only our children that are changing, but we are changing. We are growing spiritually. And finally, if we create a world centered on husbands and wives that are true parents to their own children, centered on true love, centered on the love of God, then we as people are meant to claim ownership over this universe. You have some kind of an occupation, some kind of a talent, some kind of an ability, a hobby maybe, or there's something that you can do that is particular to your ability. And when you do that in some kind of an occupation, a job, then we begin to take dominion over the creation. These are the 3 stages of growth that all of us are meant to go through. Individually becoming united in mind and body, and then becoming either a husband or a wife. And then through the process of raising our own children, and even at some point possibly or probably having grandchildren, we become parents, and our hearts become full and complete. God is the original parent of mankind. But until we become parents ourselves and go through the process, sometimes the struggle, the difficulty, the hardship of worrying about and taking care of and crying for our own sons and daughters, our own children, and helping them go through the same difficulties in life that we went through, we don't really appreciate God enough. If we become parents to our children, then don't we, those of you that are here that are parents, hasn't it made you have a greater appreciation for your own parents? You go, oh, now I understand what my father meant. Now I understand what my mother was all about. Because now you're going through the same thing. But God is the original parent. So when we become parents to our children and follow this model, this standard, then we come closer to God. We become a son or a daughter of God. That is what the celebration of Parents' Day is meant to be.